What's going on, fellas? Hope you all are having a good Tuesday. Well, it'll be Wednesday when I post. Anyway, we're doing something a bit different today. I'm just going to be talking over some gameplay about our girl Nobu. Look, she needs some changes, right? Everybody knows this. But what to do, and I think it's important we understand why we love this character before devs make changes. So first things first, let's establish a premise, the foundation, why we love this character. Look, Nobushi's always been a finesse type of character. When I picked her up in beta, I remember the first time I accidentally used hidden stance. And I was using it offensively at the time. I didn't even know it had iframes. But when I did, I understood her role. You know, she's a counterattacker. She has a bit of finesse to her. Like, she can do burst damage, and, you know, get a lot of attacks in really quickly, stack bleed. But she's, at her roots, a counterattacker. And in today's meta, everybody's getting a bash like. Everybody's so offensive focused. Look at what they did with Lawbringer. Orochi changes, you know, and that's not what these characters are about. I think she just needs very small changes that make her viable in duels without making her busted in fours. Because contrary to what our devs believe, every character does not need to be great at everything. She doesn't need to be S tier in duels and fours. You know, she can be a bit undertuned in duels, and you know, there's a skill curve to her, and there needs to be a skill curve to her. Same with other characters, but yeah, you can't. She shouldn't be brain dead. You shouldn't be able to just pick her up and do good. And I think I speak for all Nobu mains when I say we'd rather you just never rework her if you're going to rework her and make her brain dead. That's never been what Nobushi was about. She was always a high scale ceiling character. So anyway, let's get into it. Buffs. She needs a bash from neutral. And hear me out. I know I said I don't want to make the character busted, but it needs to be a true 50-50 bash from neutral. Don't click off the video. Listen, hear me out. We're not going to be making many other changes to her kit. Most of it's going to be nerfs, really, so that she's not overtuned in team fights. But it doesn't need to be a dodge forward bash, which would make sense. You know, Nobushi's a character that's all about spacing. And you know, you want to be at the right distance where you can touch them and most characters can't really touch you. So a dodge forward bash would make sense, but if you were to dodge in, what other reason could you be coming in other than bash? Now that in itself could be useful for you. You know, you can play like Warmonger, where you constantly dash forward and people try to light interrupt you and then you parry it, you know. But that would just make her play like other characters, which is what we don't want. Here's what I think. It needs to be from neutral along the lines of like Alfaro or Glad Bash, but it needs to be a true 50-50 unreactable bash. And part of the reason why is because her whole kit is very telegraphed. You know, she has a lot of animations telling you what she's about to do. I think she probably has the most telegraphed kit of every character in the game besides maybe Shugo, but Shugo has variably timed heavies, so for him it doesn't really matter. But her animations are very distinct and it's very easy to tell what she's trying to do. Even if you're not, even if you're just a react on red type of player, you can slow down and really tell what she wants to do. So it needs to be that, and it only needs to guarantee a Cobra Strike the same way her kick does now. You're just giving her kick from neutral. Now this isn't that strong of a change. If you wasn't reacting to her before, then it don't really matter, right? Also, she do not need 400 MS lights. Now it makes sense for her because all she does is poke. But as I said, every character does not need to be great at everything. She does not need 400 MS. Like, that's going to make her brain dead. People are just going to light spam the way people swear you can do now, which doesn't work at high level. She needs something, obviously, but that's not it. That's not the change she needs. 400 MS nights is not the change she needs. Her second change, and this is all she needs to be viable in duels, make her lights feightable to hidden stance the way they used to be. Bro, that was so good and they took it away. Reasons being, as I stated before, she has very distinct animations. You can just react to her animation, really. You know when she's throwing a light, when she's throwing a heavy. If you're able to feint lights from hidden stance, to soft feint lights into hidden stance again, That's just going to make people think twice about parrying. You're not going to be as confident parrying unless you're one of the players that can react on flash, which is like 10 people, bro. That was so good, and they took it away. Perhaps it was strong back then, but in today's game, where you got characters like VG running around or all these busted characters, she needs it, bro. She needs it. Back then, you know, that was the way to get damage when she didn't have an opener. You would light soft feint into hidden stance. If they went for the parry, you throw the kick immediately. It guarantees the kick. They can't dodge out of the way in time. You know, that's literally all she needs. A 50-50 bash from neutral. Don't speed up her lights. Don't change anything else, and make her lights feintable from hidden stance. Now, she's still going to be tough to use in duels. You fight against a really good player, she's still going to be tough. Good. It's good. You're going to have to be good to use the character. She's not going to be brain dead. Anybody just can't pick her up and do great work. That's what Nobushi's always been about. She always had a high skill ceiling, a high skill curve. And that's what's missing now from the game. Look at what they did to Lawbringer. Lawbringer was known as the punish guy. You make a mistake against Lawbringer, bro, you were screwed. Like, you were screwed. I'm not saying, like, yeah, his punishes were a little overtuned, but they tweaked him in areas where he's no longer who he used to be. He lost his identity. You know, now he's just bash light, unblockable. He's just brain dead. It's the same with Orochi. You know, Orochi used to be a sort of finesse niche character, sort of like Nobushi. They didn't have the same role, but you have to condition people to get damage. You have to condition them to think one thing so you can do stuff. You know, look at Nova King, how he used to play with the deflex. Bro, being an Orochi main, being a real good Orochi main, you used to get so much respect from the community, bro. Now, like, people hate Orochi. If you say you're an Orochi main, like, why would you even say you're Orochi main? Just say you main somebody else. Like, nobody likes Orochi now. And it's for those reasons. You know, the characters have lost their identity. This is the only way to change Nobushi and not make her busted in team fights where she's somewhat viable in duels and maintain who she is, her identity. If you do anything else, she's busted. She's too strong in team fights. If you give her anything else, she's busted. You would have to tune her down in other areas if you want to give her something else in her kit to make her more viable in duels. But as I said, she wouldn't be who she is, who she's always been. Now, nerfs, that is important. Take away her way of the shark. She do not need to be doing 35 damage heavies, bro. That is insane. Now, I love it, but it's insane. When it happens to me, I hate it. Like, that's absurd damage. Now, they have to standardize her heavies, maybe 24 all around. Her follow-up undodgeable heavy, maybe 28. Like, that sounds about good. But she needs to keep bleed. That is part of who she is. Maybe tone down how quickly you bleed out. I think it does 3 per tick now. If you stack it, it does 4. Just make it do 2 and 3 if you stack. A small change, but you bleed out slower. It gives you a chance to fight back. And if you don't panic, take it slow, you can still win. You know, if you getting damaged, of course, you're not getting destroyed. But she needs bleed. That's part of who she is. That's what makes her unique. Her ability to apply bleed from neutral. Now, she still sounds strong as fuck, which she is, but she's not like busted. I'm not sure how the revenge scaling works for melees, but I know, like, with attacks, like, the more damage it'll do, the more revenge it feeds. Just make her kick feed more revenge. So if you're throwing a kick, you need to be throwing it when nobody else has touched her, or else you're gonna feed a lot of revenge. That's the way to keep her balanced. Now, she would still be strong, but she wouldn't be as broken as somebody like VG or somebody like that, or Alfiro. So with these changes, she would be maybe low A tier in duels, low S tier 4s, or high A tier. But most importantly, she would still be who she is, our girl Nobu, bro. Please do not make this character brain dead. If there is a 1% chance of 400 death seasons, please, as I said, I don't speak for all Nobu mains, but I'm pretty sure 99% of them would agree with me when I say we rather have the changes I stated or not touch her at all if you're going to make her a bash light character. You know, it's completely brain dead. So yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments. What changes would y'all make? If you agree, disagree. If you think these changes are dog shit, just say it. I have no moderation in the comments. Just let me know. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope you have a good rest of your day. I'm out.